Okay, so welcome back today, day 8 of a 30 days on the Tribe program. Short tips, advice, techniques, and thought-provoking strategies. So today I'm going to talk about something that wasn't going to be added into the program because it's a touchy subject and many people will get upset if you challenge it. It's still very much an unknown area. It's common. We all experience it within our lives. It's been labeled. There's boxes that people put themselves in. And it's one of those things within sport that not many people tend to talk about, or they find that it's a weakness, therefore shy away from it generally until it's too late, and then have a desperate scramble to find the solution or take shortcuts when actually they could have prevented it early on. And that word, that label that has attached or been stigmatized by the media and certainly a lot of clubs around the world that I've worked with, is the word depression. Now, depression for me is something that we do. It's a strategy that we follow. And in order to follow that, we have learned how to work within a framework. When working with people with depression, what I like to do is to strip down and understand what that word means. And it's very difficult to understand or label something when we are made up of so many different values and beliefs, and depression to one is not necessarily what it means to another. Now, you could talk about the chemical imbalances within the brain, which causes elements of alternative thinking. But then you could also learn about the strategies and a cause and effect, which means people go into that depressive state and follow a set strategy when they are triggered by an external event or an internal emotion. So depression is something that we do. I want people to understand that. And there's no shame in doing depression. It's about understanding why you do it in the first place, and combating or avoiding, not running away from, but avoiding certain situations if they're external that cause you to do depression. In society nowadays, we've become so reliant on looking for the solution in a bottle, whether it be substance abuse or through prescribed medication, that we've actually taken away the art of thinking and problem solving, or the resolution. So understanding that we do it and working out a way in which we can do it constructively without the support. And again, this isn't all instances or all circumstances, but for the majority of the cases where people have been prescribed medical or prescriptions, they haven't undergone a learning, an understanding of the environments externally that have caused the situation. Of course, it can be good to get some, it would be good to find the instant resolution within a bottle for some, but for me, I think if you're working for long term, you need to deal with the root cause of the problem. So I'm not going to go too much on today about depression, although it was a topic that I wanted to mention here. But if you're struggling with depression, know that you're not alone. Know that there are many athletes out there in the world also struggling, fighting with a depressive personality, struggling with aspects of their life that they're not happy with, which is fueling negative thoughts, emotions, and certainly manifesting into other aspects of their life. What I want you to know is that there are solutions out there. There are strategies that you can follow, that you do depression, and there is aspects of life that you can change. There is also aspects of your life that you can't change, which may be in that position when you need to seek out the medical attention and look for solutions in other ways. But for athletes, especially if you're operating at the top and things, or you have a season which isn't particularly constructive or productive to that legacy, that vision of yourself that you had in the future, there can be a temptation to slip into negative thoughts, which then in turn cause you to follow a certain strategy, which is then labeled as a depressive personality or a depressive state. So what I'm going to invite you to do, if you're not you've not encountered depression. I want you to understand and accept yourself that it's something that we do, that everybody has the ability to do it. There are times in life that we face struggles and stresses, and they should be accepted for what they are. And it's perfectly okay to enter into that space of self-doubt, self-question. It's normal. It's normal to be in that place. But what I want to really deliver today is that if you are in that place, or you have been in that place in the past, then understand that you're getting there and out of it utilizing a similar amount of effort. It takes effort to be depressed. You have to ask yourself a set number of questions in order to follow that or your depressive strategy. I want you to look for the alternative. Look for a solution-based strategy. Look for some patterns to interrupt that process that you follow. If you feel the need right now, grab a pen and paper and write down your journey to depression if you have it. Depression, thoughts, negative thoughts and emotions at one end, and a level state at the other, and then just perhaps draw a line and signify along that line the aspects of your life that cause you to enter into that place. Then work backwards and look at those titles that you've written down. And again, it doesn't have to necessarily be words. It can be descriptions. It can be drawings, in actual fact. You can animate the process and find out what you could do to interrupt that pattern, and perhaps alternatives. So depression today is something we do. It's been labeled. Many people have stigmatized it within the sporting community. I think it's something that we all have the ability to do. I think that if people can find out alternatives or take preventative measures based on knowing when they enter into that space, look for alternative, look for solutions, look to interrupt that process based on a better understanding of self. And just to note that you can be forgiven to enter into this state as well. And I think it's important to note that we generally are not taught how to think. We're not taught how to control our thoughts. The questions that we ask internally is not a topic that generally is taught in primary or secondary education. We get taught about history, but we don't get taught the process of thinking, how our thoughts manifest into greater things. You know, the regurgitation that we experience in school of information has its place. It helps us understand the bigger universe and certainly aspects of past that make up the values and beliefs of today. But what I'd like you to do, or what I'm going to invite you to do, is understand your own question and answering process, understanding that your thoughts, your actions, your behaviors are created by the questions, by your internal strategies. And if you enter into that place of depression, I want you to know that you have, just as quickly as you had the ability to get into that state, you have the ability to get yourself out of it. There should be no shame in asking for help. There are plenty of places you can go which offer guidance, advice, and support for those people who have entered into that space already. But for those of you who have yet to, or have not, or have perhaps no intention to, I want you to understand that it is a process that you have the ability to do. So just perhaps map out a strategy so that should it arrive on your doorstep in the future, you have the ability to quickly interrupt that pattern and to avoid entering into that negative spiral of depressive behaviors. So that's it for today. I didn't mean for it to be, or there is no intention for it to be controversial, or to question or to devalue anyone that has depression or experienced it. It can be a very dark and demonous place to enter into. I understand that. But what I want you to know is that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You have the ability and the choice to exit from it should you choose. There are alternatives than to seek or to find the solution in a bottle, whether it be a substance or an illegal substance, or in fact a prescribed substance, which then changes. There are many medical variants of the word depression. So and it is stigmatized within the sporting community. So I just want you to know that it's a completely natural state, subject to a lot of external and internal factors. So that's it for today. Remember to subscribe, hit the subscribe button right now, head over to social media and follow us. And also check out 100nman.com. That's 100nman.com, where you can get access to a 50-day free online training resource where you'll get daily updates emailed to your inbox every single day for 50 days and exclusive offers.